Lake Fear, which is also known as Haunting at Cypress Creek, also known as just Cypress Creek. So this is a low-budget cabin in the woods type movie. We basically have a group of young sort of teenage girls, basically, who for some reason decide to go to this kind of remote cabin. Well, we're told it's a remote cabin, but it kind of looks, it's got power, it's got lighting, it's kind of nicely furnished, and apparently there's no one living there, but, you know, whatever. It's clearly someone's, you know, pride and joy, probably one of the directors or something's cabin, because it looks, you know, nicely maintained. But anyway, so they go to this kind of cabin, and obviously, as we probably expect, there are kind of supernatural forces at work here, and the girls are kind of menaced by a variety of otherworldly forces, shall we say. So this film, I think, is clearly influenced by the Evil Dead series, and with this film, I think it is a very low budget film. I mean, you can just tell the way the acting, the kind of the camera and stuff like that, the audio, I don't think is particularly good in this film. So it comes across as a very sort of low budget kind of guerrilla style filmmaking. And I think what the idea here is that they've kind of looked at the original Evil Dead, which was a similar sort of setup. It was a very low budget film, and they said, well, you know, Sam Raimi did this movie all these years ago, and it was a classic hit, so why can't we do something similar? You know, and I have to applaud that kind of mentality, because, you know, you can do that sort of you know, but unfortunately this comes across as really just a pale imitation. And I have to say that although I do see some creative sparks here, but they do try loads of different things. I mean, this movie can't be criticised for not trying many tricks, but it comes across as just being throwing so much shit at the wall hoping something would stick, because there seems to be all of these kind of random things that happen, and some of them are just fairly bizarre, to be honest with you, and it just kind of gets more and more ridiculous as the film sort of progresses, and you're just thinking, what the hell am I watching? And it's just you know, like I said, they look like they're throwing so much kind of weird stuff and kind of like all these kind of this random stuff that happens. Unfortunately, you know, very a small amount of it actually kind of makes sense to me, and kind of even the premise. Why would these teenage girls just go out to this remote cabin on their own? I mean, why would they do that? You know, it just doesn't make sense. So I have to say, this film is probably best left avoided. It's probably worth looking at the filmmakers here and thinking maybe if they had a bit more experience, maybe they had a bit more sort of budget towards it, they might have that kind of creative spark and kind of you know, produce something worthwhile. But I feel like it was too much of a homage to this kind of like the Evil Dead series and kind of films like that, and didn't have enough of its own voice, and it needs to kind of be narrowed, sort of reined in a little bit and have a little bit more focus, and you know, hopefully we can sort of see some better things. But to be honest with you, this film was kind of lame. It's very little to recommend this movie apart from it. If you like sort of very low budget guerrilla filmmaking, there are some sort of potential creative ideas here. So, you know, if you're looking at a potential sort of filmmaker you want to catch early, then this might be one to watch. But other than that, I've got to say, I actually didn't really like this film. I thought it was kind of very cheap looking and just wasn't all that well put together, and was just a bit of a mess, if I'm completely honest. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.